All right, we got Dave here, the owner of the Nissan Frontier that we've been building, and we've got your questions that we're going to ask him. So let's get started. So welcome, Dave. This is the first time he's been on the channel, and like we said, this is your truck. So when did you buy this, and was it always the plan to make it an EV?
I got it in 2009, and I got it off of Craigslist, sight unseen, for $150. And then just flew out from Florida, where I was visiting my dad, and came back to Denver, and we just trucked it to my house.
Very cool. And then, so what's your background and your career? Like, what have you been doing?
I was a shop teacher, retired in 2010, and always had an interest in cars. And I rode in a friend's EV, a very early EV, in 2008, and that's where I got the bug. And then I went to Bandimere Speedway, which is not far from here, and I watched the Kilocycle motorcycle, electric motorcycle. And the Discovery Channel was there that day, and just a lot of, media, and we watched it race at the quarter mile, and I was hooked. I just thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So that's why I decided to go eventually with an EV, but it's been a long road.
Yeah, since 2009.
Yes.
So I guess I was going to ask what EV projects you've been involved with, but you said the Kilocycle, which is that racing motorcycle. Has there been any other projects you've been involved with?
Yes. My son got into this. We both worked on a project along with a friend of ours, Derek Barger, with High Tech Systems. And my son was doing a 7th grade culminating project. And so we got a scooter out of the dumpster, and we changed it from internal combustion to an EV. That was our first project. And then we got excited, Derek and I got excited about teaching kids, because we just saw the response, and it was just absolutely amazing. We got some old parts, and we were switching EV skateboards, and one kid in the class built his own mini bike. We were just repairing anything that was electric, and the kids were just ecstatic about it. So that's when I knew as a teacher that we really had something here, that there was really a great platform to learn STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so the ideas just started flowing, and kind of the next version was we converted a Coleman mini bike to an EV, and now we have, that's our prototype. We have 3 more that we want to convert, but the ball's rolling, and it's so much fun, and it's so much fun to see the kids excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, getting the kids involved is one of the things I know you're passionate about with the project. So can you tell us, what does ELVS mean on the license plate?
Yes, well, ELVS stands for Electric Learning Vehicle Involving Students. And it was just an acronym I came up with to kind of give the vehicle a persona, and hopefully down the line we can do more interactive teaching with it, and actually give it a voice, and have it present videos, but that's farther down the line. Right now I think I'm just looking at going to middle school and high school STEM programs, going to vocational auto repair programs, and just introducing kids and hopefully showing them an example of what they could do with the vehicle, because it's more than just nuts and bolts and wrenches. There's a lot of computer work, there's a lot of research that Jimmy brought to the table, and just his expertise. I was able to learn so much, but I still feel like I've just learned just a tiny amount. There's so much more to learn with this, but it's just such a cool vehicle that I think that'll capture the imagination of kids.
And like you say, so I've been working on more of the mechanical parts, the electric vehicle aspects here at EVSwap, but you've been working on this vehicle too. What are some of the things that you've worked on?
Mostly the cosmetics, kind of the front end here. Jimmy came up with the idea for these doors. This is where our charging port is. We just recycled this badge, this lighted badge. I did a lot of work on just the prevent airflow and give it a little more streamlined look. I'll be working on the tonneau cover in the back, and we've got a design pretty much finalized in my head with that. So I wanted to be part of the build. I didn't want to just have Jimmy doing all the work. To me, that's just an exciting part of it, is just to be that much more involvement for me. And, you know, just doing research on wheels and tires and, you know, those things. To me, that was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a big help to have you here do the gopher tasks of running the store, or you took care of the seat upholstery and the transmission when it had an issue, so
Yes.
It's been very helpful.
Yes, I think we've made a good team.
Definitely. Okay, well, let's roll into some of the viewer questions that we've got. So Obliteron says, what does he plan to use the truck for? Why did he choose conversion? What was his budget? Are there insurance or registration hurdles for the EV conversion where he lives?
Well, my plan is to really use it as a daily driver. There's still a lot of data collection that we need to do. I live up in the foothills, so, you know, changes in elevation, range, those are all to be determined. And I think that's half the fun of this experiment, is just to, you know, find out what it can do. And I had a chance to drive it for the first time today and was just absolutely blown away. It was so much fun. The acceleration was exhilarating. I really had a blast. This was just a really fun day for me. And I think, you know, again, just the education piece, I just want this to be a motivational factor for young people, starting with middle schoolers and high schoolers. And we need more technicians, we need more engineers in the field. So hopefully that'll be something where we can plant some seeds in the future. Yeah,
and then as far as registration and insurance, the registration part's pretty easy here in Colorado. We just need it inspected, and then they'll mark it that it's electric, and then we can get electric registration for it. But you found out this morning that the insurance might be a little bit trickier.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that. We'll see. They had to send it to the underwriters, and I think we're just in a, you know, they had never heard of this before with conversions. So we'll see what happens. I'm hopeful. All we need is a piece of paper to get, you know, the registration done next week. So it's just part of the journey. You know, you run up against these problems and you problem solve your way around them, and that's half the fun.
Yeah. And I'm sure that we can get insurance. Like, there are tons of specialty insurance that will insure anything you want. So that's no problem. It's just you're trying to use your regular, normal car insurance,
Yes.
which now since it's not such a regular car, they're a little hesitant. But who knows? Maybe they'll come back and say, yes, we can do it. So,
I hope so.
Okay. Ian Lightning says, how did he come to decide Jimmy and EVSwap was the guy to realize his dream?
Well, because this has been a 15-year project, I felt like I had to educate myself. So 15 years ago, there were very few people in the world that were doing conversions. And so I joined the Denver Electric Vehicle Council and became the youth education outreach coordinator. It's a volunteer position, and I just started going to shows. We've had barbecues. I met Jimmy at a barbecue. We had a raffle, and he won an electric scooter that we had built the batteries for, and so we just got to be friends, and it just was such a natural thing. And then I asked him, and you said yes, so I was excited about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's another part of the journey, is just get yourself in the network of people. We have the State of Charge conference coming up in a couple months in July in Denver, and that's a great place to meet people that have conversion businesses. I highly recommend Jimmy. He's just been absolutely great to work with. So it's just been fun. I've really enjoyed myself. I can't wait to get over to the shop and start working.
Yeah, likewise. It's been really fun, and I think we both kind of liked each other. We've known each other for a few years, and
Yes.
I was trying to launch my shop. I needed my first customer project, and Dave had, I think, the ideal project, the Nissan pickup truck, which just ended up being such a great build. So I'm really happy to put my name on this, and I learned a ton doing it too, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
That's
to do more
important.
conversions just like this one.
Yes, I think this platform, the 98 Nissan Frontier, just is, you can't get too much simpler than
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And we had, the tilt bed was added by the Boulder Tech Vocational Career and Technical Education Center. The kids there put the tilt bed on, they did some body work on it, and so I was really happy to get kids involved with that phase of it too.
Yeah. Okay, Ian Lighting also says, are there any technical compromises that the solution has forced onto the design? I guess I'm thinking about both the range based on available battery capacity and space, and also charging. Will he be using CHAdeMO much? Do you have CHAdeMO chargers around where he lives? Or will he be getting a converter that works with CCS, or just using the slow charger? So I think, yes, all three. Right now we've got the slow charger, of course, and there's no CHAdeMO, but we do want to add CHAdeMO. Here in Colorado, CHAdeMO is still pretty popular. There's still stations around that have it. And then, yeah, we'll use the CCS converter too. Because that CCS is by far more popular, so yes, we'll do all three. As far as the battery and the compromises for the battery, that's the biggest thing in any EV is the battery. So we had to split the pack around the drive shaft, which significantly increased how much complexity was in there versus just having it in one box. So that was definitely a compromise, but I think in the end it was worth it. So
Yeah.
Versus having the batteries somewhere else.
And I think one of the design parameters was to be able to use this as an off-grid charging platform too. So we've got solar panels that'll be mounted on there. Hopefully about 800 watts of panels for that.
Yeah. Yep. And of course the solar. And then Matt Eastburn says, did you have any challenges with the CAN bus comms on this car? And the answer is no, there's no CAN bus on this car. CAN bus didn't really come in until like the later 2000s, the 2010s era for most cars. So this one's just OBD2. It's really simple. I think the most complex part about it is it has airbags, which are still functional. So power, like wind up windows, manual steering, really basic. So no problems with CAN bus. Elias says, if he needs to get the batteries replaced in the future, what is the plan? Is it easy to DIY? Well, I think these batteries are going to last like a good 10 or 15 years at the minimum, and the battery that we have in here is actually a refurbished from Nissan battery, which is 99% health according to the computer. So I think we're pretty set.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could get batteries from another Leaf or aftermarket, totally possible.
And you said you could drop the battery pack in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it only takes about 10 minutes to unplug it, take out the 4 bolts, and drop it down. So we can drop it out, replace it with different battery cells. If we get more better cells in the future, we can upgrade, or if we just want to do like for like, we can change them out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, really easy there. Zach Kane says, are we going to see a range test? Total cost of the swap, and what was the biggest challenge? So yeah, we're definitely going to range test it.
I'm looking forward to that.
As far as the total cost, I think for all of the parts, it's about 15,000, I would say, and then labor on top of that. But probably with the Nissan Leaf, the adapter plates, the odds and ends here and there, because it just keeps adding up. You know, we're going to get little screws or hinges or things,
Yeah.
so probably around there. And then the biggest challenge for me, definitely the batteries. Just building the box and making sure it was all safe and good to go. Okay, John Boyle says, what is the most challenging part of the conversion? We just answered that, I think. And then, does the truck freak out that the engine is missing? No, it doesn't. Because we talked about how simple it was, there's no issue with the engine being missing, except, for instance, there's no temperature readout or fuel readout on the gauge cluster, but we have ideas for how we can utilize those. An idiot fool says, what was the goal of the project? Performance, environmentalism, cool factor?
Like I said, it was education for me, right from the get-go. And that came from seeing the excitement of, middle schoolers working on very, very basic projects.
And I guess you just want a car that you can drive every day, right? This is
your
daily driver.
This is a daily driver too. So I'm looking forward to see Colorado. We have snow and ice, and I plan on driving it through the winter. And hopefully with that weight, just a little bit rear of center, I'll get some good traction out of that, and there shouldn't be any problems. But it's not four-wheel drive, so that I think that'll be a factor for sure where I live. But I do have another vehicle. I have a truck, larger truck, an F-250 that I can use on those days.
Yeah. And you're going to get snow tires.
Yes.
Which will help a lot too.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, environmentalism or performance, not really at the top of the list. It's just we want to build cool cars, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm an environmentalist, I think, and but I've also got my 1 foot, in the ICE arena with internal combustion engines. So I definitely feel good about having this truck would have gone to the scrapyard. The parts of the Leaf went to the scrapyard, but we saved the most important components. So I feel good about putting two vehicles back on the road and cutting down my carbon footprint. So I think just there is that consciousness that I have about it. That's important to me, and to be a role model, to set an example for young people.
Yeah, and like you say, the environmental aspect is we're taking two vehicles which were garbage or trash, especially the Leaf with the high voltage battery is going to need special, it's not just so easy to dispose of. And we can take them and make something that actually is functional and we can drive for years to come.
Yes.
And on top of that, it's going to be solar powered, and it's really lightweight and small, so it uses small tires. So all of the encompassing things, it's just, I don't know, we can't help but be environmentalists. Not that we're trying to do it, I guess.
Right. It's a laboratory on wheels.
Yeah.
Elvis is just, this will be, I picture this as a continuing learning process.
Definitely. And he's got a few more questions. Will the truck undergo further modifications to modernize or stylize the truck? And he says that he has a Frontier as well, and he wants to have a mobile battery bank and solar generator concept included in his build too, so very similar to what we're doing.
Yes.
But I don't know, we kind of already did the modernization with the grill badges and the wheels and tires and stuff, but
Yeah.
Do you have any plans in the future?
I think being able to hook up power tools and have a 110 volt outlet, we're using the where you would put the gas in, that little door as the outlet for that. Definitely the vehicle, not so much vehicle to grid, because at my off-grid cabin, I want to be able to use this as well as a solar array to power my cabin. So this would be the backup for that system. And then I have a wind generator also, so that would also. So I think just having backup system in an off-grid situation is ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so then we got a few questions on Instagram. One person asked, is it four-wheel drive? And is it possible to convert a manual or an automatic? Are they the same? And no, this one's just two-wheel drive, and we use the manual transmission in this one. It's definitely possible with the manual, but I don't think so with the automatic, at least where we are right now. I guess that's not true. Some people have done EV automatics, but it adds just more resistance to the thing. You have to have it spin up before it builds pressure and things, so the manual is perfectly adequate. And then we were asked, was the ground clearance compromised? And no, one of my big goals was to not change anything drastic like that about the vehicle. So the batteries are higher than the lowest point on the truck. There's a few cross members underneath the vehicle where the transmission mounts and some other things, and those cross members are a few inches lower than the batteries. So if Dave's up in the mountains and he's on a rough road and he starts scraping the bottom, he knows that it's not the batteries, it's a cross member. He can reverse out of that. So that's all the questions we have. I guess let's get some impressions. You drove it today for the first time. What was the comparison between what you pictured in your mind before and then after actually driving it today?
It had to be the acceleration. I was flabbergasted. It's just the torque, just the feeling of getting pushed back in the seat and I didn't even punch it hard, and I could easily go, 60 miles an hour in the parking lot here. So that I think is definitely a plus. It doesn't have power steering, so you got to use a little more muscle when you're turning, but that's fine. Braking was fine. Just the overall handling feel, I didn't feel any sway back and forth. I think it was so the suspension is definitely, and really we didn't beef up the suspension at all, really, other than the shocks.
Yeah, the Bilstein shocks.
The Bilstein shocks, I think that really helped.
Yeah, they feel really nice.
But overall, it just has a great sporty feel to it.
Yeah, the handling, the way it steers and stuff, it feels really good. It feels planted.
Yes.
Lots of traction.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I guess we just need to get some license plates on it, and we can go enjoy it more. But do you have any more final thoughts before we conclude?
I want to just say thanks, Jimmy. This has just been an absolute dream to work with you. It's just been, I think one of our parameters I mentioned the first time we talked about this was this project has got to be fun. And that, I've had a tremendous amount of fun with this. So just thank you for everything you've done, your expertise, your creativity, problem solving, just how we worked as a team. All those things were just fantastic. So I highly recommend Jimmy for any builds that people out there might want to do. And again, thanks for everything.
No problem. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thanks again for watching, and hit the subscribe and thumbs up button if you haven't. And if you have any comments for Dave, type them down in the comments below, because he's also a watcher of the channel and he reads those comments too. So we'll see you next time.